evening, guys. Hope things are well. Just got parked. I think D just actually got parked too after taking care of some business. We're live. It looks like Soup Sandwich was first, as we all know. Don't know what we got in store for a live tonight. We had a guest lined up, and we weren't able to get him at the last minute, but it's all good. What's up, Jonah? Jonah Green is up. Good talking with you earlier in the week, Jonah. And by the way, Jonah, he's never called me for your info. I don't know why. What's up, Alicio? Evening. And we got Flying Patty in here. How's it going, Flying Patty? Haven't heard from you in a couple weeks. Glad you're here. John Huntley is in here. Good evening, Rabbit. Life on 18. Evening.
Good evening, fellas.
And we got Royalty in here. We got Country. Country, I was watching, getting caught up on your videos today, just in the last little bit. And I don't know why you don't call yourself Country Time rather than Country's Life. Just like the old Country Time Lemonade. You could be Country Time, the driver's aid. Kind of like the old trucker's coach. How about that, D? What do you think?
That'd be kind of cool. Right? I like Country better. It's just Country, the country trucker. That's it.
Country Time. James Rigsby. Hey, guys. First live. Glad you're here, James. Or Jimmy. I'm sorry, Jimmy.
Jimmy. Yep. Brian, how you doing?
He's at a Walmart, Clarksville, Arkansas. Might be a good one. They gave me a door immediately on the hour before appointment. That's always a good thing.
Nice. Haven't heard about Walmart letting anybody in at least 15 minutes before, so they got you in a whole hour early. You might want to go get you some lottery tickets, man.
Country, my brother. Flying Patty, you use the extended network load board yet? I've looked at it. I'm trying to remember. I don't think I've actually booked anything on it yet. The extended load board or network load board, they're going to be all live loads and live unloads. And if anybody knows anything about me, I try to stick with the drop and the hooks as much as I can. But I will do a live load or a live unload, but it has to be a drop and hook on the other end. That's usually what I try to book. But I haven't seen anything on there worth it for me yet. And that extended board is just kind of a connector to help you. Like if you're stuck in an area, hopefully it helps you get out of an area that you're in. And not only that, there's not a whole lot on there yet that I've seen. I mean, there's a few. I think Country's right. There's going to be a few, but it's just taking some time. Country says, John, Country's Life is channel name because it's my life. Country Time is my solo stream. Okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
Brian Jess says, I always go to Walmart 1 hour before appointment and never get turned away. I mostly only do Walmart grocery DC, though. Yeah, I've always been pretty fortunate with Walmart, too, if I ever have lives.
Well, if it's groceries,
an hour early, they'll usually take you.
It's more understandable if you're doing groceries, then that might be a little bit different. But I know on the dry side, you got to be there at the same time that they ask you to be there, so...
John Huntley says, please tell Country to put my damn stickers in the mail.
Country, please put John's stickers in the goddamn mail already. I let him know. I'll let you know what he says.
Hey, G80 Sean, you were supposed to give me a ring, man. I don't know what happened. I'm glad you're starting orientation on the 7th. You made a good decision by not going to JB Hunt. Flying Patty says, a lot up here in the Northeast pay much the same, but more options. Okay. I'm not a big Northeast guy, but I do go up there sometimes. Mm-hmm. Not New York, but LOL John says Country. Y'all caught me. I'm at an undisclosed place here in Florida.
You're at Hooters.
Yep, I'm at Hooters. In an undisclosed place in Florida.
Your favorite place to go?
One of my favorite spots to go to. Mm-hmm. All right, G80, give me a holler tomorrow, buddy. Glad to be here, Jens. Thanks for having me. No, thanks for being on here.
Welcome.
Brian Jess says, yeah, those Walmart general merchandise DCs are really hit or miss for sure.
That's a
I
fact.
am.
I actually did one in Mississippi a couple weeks back, and apparently they don't. When I went to the gate, I got there like 5 minutes before because that's just the norm for those places, right? And actually, I got there 30 minutes before, not 5 minutes. And I went in to check in, and the guy was like, "Yeah, you got to come back at the appointment time now. They no longer are taking you 15 to 30 minutes early." And I thought that was wild because there were like seven other trucks behind me, and we all got to come in at the same time in the same night. So it's like, well, are you going to be late or are you still going to be early if you get checked in at that point, you know?
Hello, Dave Hazlitt. Glad you're here. Jimmy Rigby says just dropped his first load with Schneider. Congratulations. And the wife is always on here. Hello, Hanson. Thank you,
Good
baby.
evening, Nicole. How you doing?
Um, G80 Sean says life on 18. Landstar was on his radar, but they take decades to get back with you. That's one of the reasons why I don't work at Landstar.
Yeah, but you can't never let that get you hold you back from doing what you want to do. So,
A
but
lot of
I'm
people
glad
can't
I'm
afford to
glad
go
you're
there.
going to Schneider. You know, you still found a place to go to in the meantime, and then later on down the road you'll come right on over here with us.
Brian Jess says I sat at one of the Fort Pierce for 7 hours one time, and it was literally 5 pallets. That sucks.
That does suck. At the end of the day, they don't give a damn or care for our time. You know, they know that we are beholden to the DOT hours of service, and they don't even care about that either. Because you'll run out of your time at some of these places, and they'll tell you still got to get off their property with no time on your clock.
So, with you talking about that, I want to go on a little rant
Rant
before I go
away.
on. I want to go on a rant. So, I sent you the article, and if it's one of your news articles, I apologize. But over last weekend, the city of New York City, and I'm not familiar with New York City. I don't know anything about the geographic area, but I guess there's an outer bank highway that a lot of truckers use. And I guess there's somewhat of parking on the side of the road. I don't know for sure how that works out. But the New York City Police Department uh, booted, the boot that goes over your windshield, like over 15 trucks last weekend. Towed
I
them
seen
all in.
something like that.
Yeah, towed them all in and basically ruined their fucking day. I don't know how much it cost them, but um, I was just talking to my wife about this earlier, yesterday or today. Um, this job is becoming a thankless business because of many reasons. Not only is it that shit there up in the Northeast, and Patty, that's why I don't drive the Northeast, is because they don't want you up there. Number one.
Right.
Number two, there's not enough parking up there. It's really, even in Pennsylvania, it's hard to find parking. That's one of the number one reasons, but it doesn't go just to that. But a lot of these shippers and receivers anymore, like what you just said, they don't care about the truck drivers. They don't care that you got a clock. They don't care that this is your money maker with your clock. Uh,
Right.
if they had any choices, they would sit you for 6, 7, 8 hours. And at that point, you're better off just doing a reset. I mean, it's not worth running, off of your 14 in some cases. Um, the four wheelers, they don't care about you. They cut in front of you. Uh, Dude, I had so many four wheelers when I drove home this time that cut in front of me or cut me off. And dude, I was doing 65. I was just minding my own business, and it's just getting more and more prevalent. And then you get the super trucker, foreign super truckers that haul the Amazon trailers. We all know who they are. They haul ass at 75, 80 miles an hour, and they basically blow you off the road, even if you're doing 70. Um, and they cut you off too. And it's becoming more and more dangerous and more difficult every year we go through.
Let
And
me
that's
join you in that rant as well too, because not only do they blow past you and they're driving so unsafe, they do it in the middle lane, and they never get out the way. You'll go left, you'll go right, and the funny thing, they'll look at you, stare at you, or they'll be on their phone watching the little movies or whatnot, and then it's like as soon as you get over, all of a sudden it's a big problem from now they want to go ahead and speed around you as well. And in regards to the New York situation as well too, here's another situation where the city is not providing ample parking for the not even just for truck drive, but for the truckers that live in the city as well too. They don't have nowhere to park, and what ended up happening is, okay, well, they just park somewhere, and then the New York City just comes around with their tow trucks. They come around with the boots. They booting your truck. They're towing your truck. And don't get me wrong, um, it's kind of messed up, but it's very expensive when they tow your truck, especially in New York. You know, uh, this whole industry in itself, like you said, they don't have. I think it's just America as a whole at this point, because I've had situations myself out here that's not necessarily in trucking that had the whole that I experienced, the whole non courtesy, have them not having any courtesy. For example, uh Friday, I went to McDonald's. I mean, we all know how McDonald's operates at this point, but it's like, come on, dude. It's like they make it so blatantly obvious. You'll stand there in the line and they don't even pay you attention. They don't even say, hey, just be with you in a minute. Don't even greet you. Don't even say hi, howdy. And what's even worse, right, is that the local McDonald's that's near me right here is breaking so much OSHA regulations. They don't even give a damn about, if they're not even caring about OSHA regulations, they're not even caring about greeting their own customers. I mean, every single person in the in the restaurant didn't have no hair nets on their head, and all of them had hair. And I'm not talking about just a little low ball cut. No, I'm talking about big poofy hair, long dreads here. You got long ponytails just swinging all over the place. It's just crazy. But yeah, like Brian said, fuck New York City.
Yep.
Go ahead, catch up with the comments real quick. I
Yep.
need to plug my laptop back in.
John Huntley says SF5 is a good starting point. Credit isn't that great. Yeah, John, SF5 is a great starting point, and that's exactly what it is, a starting point. As soon as you get to the point where you're able to get out of the SF5 truck, in our opinions, obviously, because that's what we both did, you need to, because your money flow, your cash flow will be tremendous once you get to that position. SFI is a great starting point. I would never steer anybody away from that. SFI, they're easy to deal with, and even D agree. I mean, they're easy to deal with. It's just the payments are high. That was our only complaint. And you can make more money. So, Blues Trucker, hey, what's going on? Good evening, Rabbit and D. So, before I go to any more comments, if there's anybody in here that's going to the truck show this weekend, and you want to reach out to meet either one of us, either me or D, or I think Country and Kale are probably going to go too. I can't speak for them for sure, but me and D will definitely be there. I've already got my load booked, and I think he does too. If anybody wants to meet, and possibly if y'all want to go out and eat with us on Friday night, get up with me. My phone number's always in the description, and I'll give you all the details. Did Lou ever get back with you?
No,
No.
okay. But I had another gentleman. I actually spoke with him today as well too. He's looking into getting a truck soon.
Okay.
He actually doesn't. He lives like an hour or two away from there, so he's gonna see about beating up during a truck show one of those days as well too.
Okay. Fly Rabbit finds a place every couple of weeks. Period. How mal? Not so sure.
Fly Rabbit finds a place every. I think he's talking about how you're always hopping from a different company to a different company.
Oh yeah, absolutely, buddy. It's you got a perfect driving record, a CDL, and 20 years experience. I mean, you are a professional athlete, buddy. You're a Michael Jordan of this trucking business, man. You got to go where the money is, and if the company you work at doesn't treat you well, it's time to move on. And I've always said that coming back to Schneider is just a temporary thing.
Mm-hmm.
I got no issues with Schneider. I just have bigger plans. Robert Green, hi from North Cocoa, Florida. Buddy, you live about 45 minutes from me, buddy, in Cocoa. I live south of Melbourne, in Melbourne, Florida. Flying Patty, I saw a few of those extended loads going from East Coast out to New Mexico and Arizona, crossing that no man's land on the regular load board. Be very careful about going out west if you're with Schneider. I don't remember if you're with Schneider or if you're running their loads, but be very careful because you might find yourself stuck out there. Make sure you got a backup. Have you guys delivered to Walgreens DC? Man, did one last week in Windsor, Wisconsin. 12 hours unload, 33 pallets. I did the actually at CVS down in Fort Pierce, but I have did the CVS and it was about 6 hours at that place. I've never done a Walgreens. John Huntley, country, check your email. G80 Sean. Oh, I know where you're taking what you're talking about in New York City. Yep. No, John, you hurt my feelings, and that's why I'm crying my eyes out. Yeah, F New York. I live on a split sleeper and recaps hours, so if I'm out more than 6 days. Just joking, John. Just checked. Dave Hazlitt. I recently watched Country on one of his videos. He's always crying about something. He gets his feelings hurt very easy.
Oh man.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, leave my buddy alone, man. So entertainment.
So, P.U. Patel, there are no cameras in my truck whatsoever other than my personal dash cam. This channel should be renamed the Trucking Crybaby Show. Okay. I'll consider.
Hey, didn't somebody ask him if he needed a hug? He sounds a little more butthurt than anybody else about this. I mean,
Ryan Patty says New York City does not care about trucks or business in general. Lived in Queens for years. Real estate is at a premium, so my old truck parking yards is full of buildings now. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I could care less if New York ever gets any of the products that we deliver. And eventually, and that's the same thing with California too. Eventually, they'll realize that they fucked up. It's just a matter of time. Even the wife says, "Does he need a hug?"
Yeah, I think that's who it was that was asking him if he wanted a hug.
Don't block anybody. Just let them talk their shit. Country, to add insult to injury, bottle kill on the Weller CYBP. CYPB. What's that?
I don't know. Next comment.
You're usually up on this crap. What the hell? Especially in New Jersey, they really don't want us tracked. You're right. New Jersey is another place of that. Anything near Philadelphia, New Jersey, or New York, I don't go to. And anything north of that area, I don't go to.
It's just a fucking headache. You got toll roads. You got limited amount of truck parking. And then what they even harass, I don't know if they still do it, but I remember they used to harass you about idling your truck at the service plazas up there on the turnpike. That must be some good ass chicken wings, man. What kind of what flavors you got up there, man?
Buffalo.
All good. Buffalo?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Vince Lombardi Truck Stop will tow your truck if you stay there for more than 10 hours. Can't even do a 34. Never even heard of the place. Probably will never.
You never been to you never been all the way up there before?
No.
Oh, okay. Vince is always full anyway, so it's just ridiculous as it is already.
What's he trying to say here about my wife, Nicole L?
I don't know. Keep reading the comments. You'll see.
No truck show this year, but mark my words, I will definitely meet y'all there next year. Yeah, anytime, John. Ritter Truck It. I'll be there. I'm just up 65. I talked to 18. It's me.
Yep, so that's Ritter. That's who I was talking to earlier today. Yep.
So Ritter, where are you at, Ritter? Are you in Indiana? And if so, what city? Because I'm originally from Indiana, so I know that area very well. Are you guys able to understand the guard at Amazon video cameras? And just, buddy, it's just like calling customer service for AT&T or T-Mobile or one of those places when you go to Amazon.
Oh, there's too many times. Can you repeat that? I'm not understanding what you're saying. Those are like my two key phrases every single time. And it's not just Amazon now. It's a lot of places, especially up in Pooler and Savannah area. They're utilizing the Indians as well too, and it's just as bad, man. It's just as bad.
All right, Nicole, I got your message. So now he's getting dirty. She's already blocked his ass. You're out of here, Dave. You're the one that's in fucking transition, you little bitch. Brian Jess, I did Walgreens in Jupiter, Florida once to get home, and it was maybe 2 hours. Okay.
I think I know where that Walgreens is. Yeah, Walmart
Dave
or
Hazlitt
Walgreens.
is right about country crying about something all the time. Well, country's country. You know, you like him or you don't like him. It's that damn simple, guys. I mean, just like us. We're not here to please anybody. We're just here to help and try to, make things right. Flying Patty, I am with Pumpkin, and I'm in the process of moving with my family to the Phoenix area. Okay. I think you'll like Phoenix a lot better. It's bourbon inside joke. Sorry, guys. Okay. Brian Jess, I saw a Hirschbach truck called the Rainbow Express. It says love is love on the hood. I've seen that truck before. What happens is the foreigners from the Middle East and India start dropping trailers everywhere, and they do back at their country and destroy everything for everyone. I agree. Flying Patty says you would want your head examined if you want to spend 34 hours at the Vince Lombardi. I've never been there before. I don't even know what it is. I know it's a truck stop, but I was just about to ask how the loads are looking out west because initially they were going to send me to Phoenix to pick up the truck. I don't know, dude. I just don't. I don't go out west. I know Country looks at loads all the time. I just know from previous experiences that you can get stuck out there. That's one thing I don't want to do. Seymour, Indiana. I know exactly where you're at. Grew up next rest area in Columbus, Indiana, of the Cummins headquarters. I know exactly where you're at, Seymour. You're literally about an hour north. I'm from Jeffersonville, is where I'm from. Holy shit, Rabbit laying the smackdown. Get him. Buddy, I used to lay the smackdown. And here, by the way, here's my t-shirt if you haven't seen it. Hey, D. LAPD, homicide. Our day.
What does it say on the other side?
It's the same thing. Our day begins when yours ends.
That is such a fucked up motto.
Live on 18, share more of the MN89 stories.
Let
me get caught up with these comments real quick, and then we'll do that. That's a good topic. Yeah, I cry about my little bitch keyboard warriors in my comments and cry myself to sleep because I get so much about their opinions. Oh my boy, man. Do you think the new administration rates will increase? They are, and they will. They haven't really done a whole lot yet. Just like anything, guys. It's just, we're literally, what, 9, 10, 11 weeks into his presidency. Not even that. It's just gas is going down. I think diesel's starting to take a decrease. And I've said it from the very beginning. I think all the changes are going to be somewhere in the third quarter. Sometime around August, September, I think, is when things are going to change. Just in time for Christmas. And the tariffs start on the 2nd. And once April 2nd rolls around, the tariffs, and again, we'll take probably another little downturn. People get freaked out about buying shit again. But eventually, it's going to turn around. It really is. It's going to take some time, but it is going to turn around. I think right now is the best time to get a truck. Phoenix always has good paying loads going back to Florida. There you go, Flying Patty. Not sure what that guy's saying about Country. Pretty positive lad, I thought. Yeah, Country is a very positive lad. People, everybody's not for everybody. That's just like everybody doesn't like iced tea. Everybody doesn't like lemonade. You know, different flavors aren't for everybody. So let me read these last three comments, and then I want you to do some MM89 stories. Hold up, Rabbit. You were LAPD before trucking? No, I wasn't LAPD, but I was a cop. I wanted to be LAPD, but I would never move to California. I just found the T-shirt and liked it. LAPD homicide. My pension depends on your crimes. That's good.
Damn.
What is the average loads are paying at Schneider? Um, that's a tough question, to be honest with you. Um, I think it's easier just to tell you what you can gross. I mean, you can easily, and I think Country can back this up. I don't know what your goals are, what your bills are, but I think you can consistently gross between $45,000 and $5,000 a week on a regular basis, as long as you run to the right places, manage your fuel properly, and you can still do that with an SFI truck. I did it, every single week that I was out there, I did it, with the exception of weeks that I, had to go home or maybe a load was canceled or something like that. But as long as all the loads matched up, I was doing it. I think Country can probably agree to that too. All right, do your MN89 stories. Do you have any?
I think I had one, but I don't know what I did with. I don't know what I did with it. Hold on, let me think. So MN89, I think I was 3 months in or halfway in or something like that at this point, and they used to send me all kind of places, like weird places. I go up to Wyoming, and then I have to deadhead to Colorado or something. Learn my lesson about that one. Never doing no dumb shit like that ever again, right? Because the load gotta really, really, really be paying good if I have to deadhead out of Wyoming. So I end up meeting this one dude. I ain't gonna tell you what his name is, obvious reasons, but he also worked at MN89 as well too. And I met him out on the road. We were both pulling the same load, and we were generally going in the same place. I think we were actually picking up at the same place, delivering in the same area, the same place like that, right? And so we started getting to comparing numbers. We were trying to figure out who getting paid what. And I believe I had picked up the load, and I was actually getting like $4 a mile for this load. And Buddy was getting barely paid $2 a mile for the same load, right? So we started comparing numbers. He got pissed off. He called his dispatcher, and he was like, "I don't understand how the F y'all got me pulling these heavy ass loads. You got another driver over here pulling this load for $4 a mile, XYZ ABC." And he kept going on and on and on. And then, funny thing is, my dispatcher tried to call me right after he got off the phone with his dispatcher, because they trying to figure out, if it was me or did I talk. Because I guess they looked up the trucks in the area and saw who was there or whatever, right? So I never answered the phone. They sent me a text message, asked me if I know who this person was and if they were near me, and I was like, "No, I don't know who that is," because I didn't want them to come back on me in some kind of negative way. But I guess at the end of the day, it still bit me in my ass because I never saw another $4 a mile load at MN80, and that was the only one I ever saw when I was there. Another time, I ran into another MN89 driver. Um, and I was just curious at the time. I was just asking them because that's when I was still had my first dispatcher, and I was still getting pretty decent rates for loads before he left. And I asked Buddy, little Asian dude, I asked him how long he was there for. Like, I think he was on his second load. He had just got there at MN89, and I asked him like, how much is he averaging? And he was like, "Dude, I haven't made any money. It looked like I'm not gonna make any money because the load they trying to get me to haul right now is 93 cents a mile, something less than $1." And I was like, "Well, that fucking sucks." But at that point, I already was trying to make my exit strategy. So there goes one of my MN89 stories, man.
That was a good one. That was a good story.
Matter of fact, I need to call. I need to call that guy and see how he's doing nowadays, man. I've got to reach out to him, see if he's doing fine and
He's
whatnot.
probably at Super Ego now.
Nah, we've had conversations about Super Ego. I'm pretty sure me and him we both had the same agreements about how Super Ego who Super Ego is. Yeah, we were not fucking with him at all whatsoever.
Hey, John Rabbit, we can connect on a few different levels. Many bad memories, many good memories. Thank you for doing the good deed. You know, I won't say I'm doing the good deed or we're doing, and it's not just me. It's D too. This show, ever since day one, we really got into it. It's been about me and him. We both try to give you guys the best information that we possibly can. Doesn't mean it's always the right way to go. It doesn't mean it's the wrong way to go. We're just telling you um, where we made our mistakes and how you
Mm-hmm.
guys can hopefully learn from our mistakes. And, you know, I've caught at least 5 guys in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks since I bought this truck and steered them away from, you know, getting into a high truck payment and getting them into a truck that they can afford just because we've learned our lessons. And again, I'm not saying that it's not right for everybody, but you know, the 5 guys that I've talked to, they were in position to do it and they had the down payment. You know, if you got it and you got the down payment, I mean, they approve just about everybody as long as you have the money. It's just about how much money can you put down. Um, in the SFI thing, again, we've always stood behind SFI. It was the decision that both of us made, and it was the right decision at the time to get us to where we're at now. It's a stepping stone, like everything.
Mm-hmm.
Again, guys, I mean, you know, John, you know, buddy, you know, me and you probably got a lot to talk about. You're welcome to give me a ring anytime. I'll be driving all day tomorrow if you want to call and BS, man, because it sounds like we have a lot in common. I know you're on country show all the time too. So, Blues Trucker, does Snyder IC require CPAP testing before accepting you as an owner operator? That is a good question. The only thing that I know for a fact is if you have that on your record already, obviously they're going to want it. But I did not test for a CPAP because I've never had it, nor did. Well, I came in on my old um, medical card anyway, so I wasn't required to do a physical. As long as you don't get flagged by it, I don't think that it's going to be a requirement. Okay. James Smith. Hey, James, what's going on, buddy? How's your truck situation going? I know you're going to start here on the 31st, I believe you said.
Hey, quick
Good to
question:
see you.
how many James do you know?
Buddy, it just worked out that way. I got like 4 of them. That's the same thing that Austin said, too. I got like 3 or 4 Jameses getting trucks.
So many goddamn James. It's crazy, man.
Fine, Patty. Oh, Dane, there's the wee woos out. Hmm? I thought I saw MN89 pulling Super Ego trailers before. It's the same company.
They are not okay. So as far as I know, right, they're not under the Super Ego umbrella, but they're all related some way or another. Like they're not running Eagles numbers or anything like that because then they would be one of the longest companies that Ego has been running. So, but I've seen Super Ego trailers and Super Ego trucks and Super Ego mud flaps under trucks while I was at the yard. So they might be cousins, brothers, some. They got to be related by somebody auntie or something. I'm not sure.
Keep talking, man. I'm going to be right back at you.
And then on top, funny thing. Here's another story about MN89. I came in because they like to do their own oil change. They don't want you to do no oil changes on the road, right? So they booked me back up to Chicago to come get an oil change. And I walk in on them doing a full body repair on an international. Like the roof section on the front was torn all off, and they were just sitting there, just casually, just laying on some bondo, laying on some fiberglass, just getting that stuff fixed right back up, get it right back on the road. And I'm pretty sure whoever was leasing that truck from them, pretty sure they charged their ass an arm and a leg and told them that they had to get it professionally done. because it sure as hell wasn't professionally done at all. The way how they were doing it.
Well, I know this is freedom of speech, and I've usually let people comment shit, but I did something just now that I've never done ever since we've been doing this for almost a year. I've reported that son of a bitch with his comments. Ain't nobody gonna, especially my wife. Ain't nobody gonna talk like that to my wife. But ain't nobody gonna talk about any of the other guys on here like that either. It's not gonna happen, guys. Rabbit, I was referring to the cop level. Okay. Oh, so you were a cop at one time, I guess, huh? Okay. What time you starting tonight, James? I've already started. I'll be driving all night. I'll be running probably close to about midnight tonight, if not later. I got to get up to Lithia Springs, Georgia tonight, and pick up that load and turn around and come right back down to Lakeland, Florida. Okay, let's talk down payment. What did you stash away for a down payment? I want to separate home from the business. All right, John. So down payment is all about your credit with this because you're getting an actual bank loan. I had to put down $8,500. My credit isn't the best. It's not the worst, but it's not the best. I had certain other issues, and I've said it many times on here before. I have a very expensive house payment and a lot of other small bills. I don't have a lot of bills, but what I do have is a lot of high dollar bills. And that played a part of it too. But I put $8,500 down, and my truck payment is under $1,000 a month, and it's only for 2 years. So down payment wise, I've seen guys as low as $5,000, and I've seen guys as high as, well, I mean, you name the moon. I mean, $10,000-$15,000, just depending.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it all depends on your credit.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. They got something to work for everybody. Just all depends on your credit. That's it.
Damn D back in that chair again.
Oh my! I'm in the front seat of the truck. I keep telling you guys that every single week. I'm in the truck.
Sleep studies are good for 5 years. I just got a lab study done. In lab is key. Do not do at home studies. Yep. So what the fuck is MM89? That's a company like
That's a
Super Ego.
MN89 is one of those other Chicago companies, man. Just stay away from them. You shouldn't have any worry about that, country. Don't be asking about nothing, man. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Don't worry about it, man. You're never going to be placed in that situation. So don't worry about it.
Yes, sir. Picking up my truck Saturday, and we'll be in orientation on 31st. Thank you so much for your help and a blessing. Buddy, you did it all yourself, buddy. All I did was steer you the right way. I gave you the advice that I could give you, and you're one of the guys that I was just talking about. One of the Jameses I was just talking about. You took my advice, you ran with it, and I think you're going to be just fine. And I'm going to help you through the beginning parts. Alicio, most of the Chicago companies leasing like MN89 Super Eagle barely make enough to cover expenses. They take 25 to 35% off the top. So when they offer you 88% for the lease, it's not worth it.
That sure do.
18, I don't see any issues with that. MM89 employees are just adding to their resumes.
Hey, I don't see no problem with it as well either. But I'm pretty sure on the back end they probably double, triple charge the driver for that truck for those repairs, which that's where the problem usually lies at. I mean, at the end, if you can learn how to bondo some shit and put it back together, as long as it's working in good order, cool. But what happens when they go to sell that truck? Are they going to disclose that information? Or are they going to try to sell the truck as if it was a never damaged truck? Because at that point, especially when you do something like that in house, that doesn't get reported to the insurance agencies, which doesn't get reported out there. So anybody pull a truck report on it, we'll see it as a perfectly good running truck with no leaks. Whole time the thing's got mold right up there in the corner. So, I mean, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
F them. This isn't a free forum. If you don't respect the deed, don't be here. Agree? Damn. Already empty at Walmart. Green light on, just waiting for paperwork. Text message to come.
Nice.
And there's the paperwork. Text 1 hour Walmart early. Okay.
You
And
got lucky
Country says
today,
it
man.
sounded like a disease. MM89. John, check out select trucks in your local areas. They might match your down payment if your credit is good. I believe it's up to $5,000. So that's actually a good idea, Flying Patty, for the Freightliner guys. And Peachtree trucks in Jefferson, Georgia. They used to do the same thing. I don't know if they still do, but they kind of work the same way that International. So if you're not an International fan, might be a second way to go.
I think Arrow does the matching as well too. And you know, everybody's favorite, we got to mention them. Low Mountain's always a great option as well.
So John Huntley says, Rabbit going to Prime next month, getting my
I pray
CDL
for
back.
you.
I think I will stay there for 2 to 3 and maybe branch out afterwards. Got to dig the fan out of the hole. I hear you.
I hear you, and I pray
I don't
for
think
you.
Prime's a bad company to go to. They're just got a lot of rules you got to follow. They're just
They become a bunch of liars, so I feel
Mhm.
like there's a problem. They become a bunch of liars over the last couple of months. So, hey, I mean, you got to go where you got to go to get what you got to get, and I understand that. But keep your head on the swivel, man. Just be vigilant of what you're doing, especially when it comes to them.
remember, if you come to Schneider and get your license here, after 6 months, you can get into an SFI truck now. And I think they will give you the down payment to get in the SFI truck. That's how bad they're hurting for people. Just another option for you other than Prime.
Yeah, it's bad for them to go ahead and screw more drivers. That's what it sounds like. Inexperienced drivers at that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My comment, we knew your comment was a joke. Patty, I drove for 5 years, came off the road due to diabetes and family. Boss CDL going to Prime next month. I'll do 2 to 3 and then meet all you out there. Okay. James says, hey, buddy, what's your thoughts for APU? The truck I purchased doesn't have one.
Yeah, you got options here. Let's see. You got diesel
Well, good. I'm going to tell
APU
him
and
just
you
call me
got
tomorrow.
electric APU. So
Yeah. Call me
you got
tomorrow, James, and I'll tell you what me and D are going to do. I think
yeah,
that's
but
your
you
best option.
like I say, you got all kind of options
Well, he bought a
out
truck
there.
like we did through Austin.
hmm I mean, you can get like I was saying, you can get an electric APU, which is battery powered, or you can get a diesel one. Do you want to go new? Do you want to go used as well too? Popular brands that they have out there is Carrier, Green APU. What's the other one? The other popular one,
Tri-Pack.
Tri-Pack. Yeah, those are usually the more popular ones. I know Green APU would definitely save on the bucks on that one.
James, give me a call tomorrow. I got your best option for you. He's just talking air. There's your boy Fidel. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Fidel?
Go to the trucking show with us, Fidel. Soup Sandwich, would you guys be doing? What would you guys be doing if you didn't get into trucking? God,
I've
man, I
always
feel like you're
wanted to
still selling
fly.
cars.
I always wanted to fly ever since I was a little kid. So if it wasn't for me having children and finding a way to take care of them, I'd probably be finding a way how to get into the sky. That was my ultimate dream ever since I was a little kid.
You can still do that. You know that, right?
Well, yeah, as a private citizen, am I too old to be an airline pilot?
Nope.
No, no.
Buddy, there's pilots that are in their 60s, buddy,
Yeah.
70s.
Yeah, I'd probably be one of the oldest, lowest ranking pilots though.
Green AP, you can buy all the parts needed anywhere. Yep. Chilling, are you guys going to make it to Matt's? Absolutely.
Sure is. I'm going. I'll
God
be there.
willing, we'll be there. All right. We're caught up on comments. You got any news you want to put out?
Yeah. Well, no, but what we're gonna be doing, what we can do here today is let's go to. Let me pull it up here.
Life's
We're
life
gonna
on
we're gonna check
Kale
out this.
said, "Well, you
We're gonna
definitely getting that seat time, D."
we're gonna check out this video here. Our fellow content creator put out, and we're going to have a discussion about it. It's open discussion, so the comments are open for their own interpretation of the video. Also, want to hear what you guys' opinions are on this whole situation. So let's get into it. And no, I don't have YouTube Premium,
Mom,
so
5 minutes.
if you hear me say anything about YouTube, okay?
Mr. Beach, if you want to introduce yourself, you may proceed.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for the committee. My name's Harvey Beach. I'm one of the co-founders of American Truckers United, and my family has also been in the trucking business in Arkansas for 43 years. I'm here today to speak against House Bill 1745 because in essence, it does nothing to improve the current problem, and I want to explain that to you all. The bill requires a certain group of drivers to possess an employment authorization, or what is referred to an EAD, or an employment authorization document. That document is the very seed and door where non-citizens are able to go into certain states, we'll call them sanctuary states, claim asylum, and they are given an EAD form or an EAD card. That very document that is required in Bill 1745 is what is used by those folks to go obtain what is called a non-domiciled CDL, and they're able to get it whether they can read or speak English or not. So the majority of the unvetted and the lack of vetting, a non-domiciled CDL cannot be used to board an airplane in our country.
Anybody ever knew that? Because I know you have to have even domestically, you have to have a regular driver's license or a CDL in order to fly. And the fact that they're sitting here saying that if you don't have a non-domicile one, that you can't even fly in this country, I would deem that as a little cause for concern, because if they don't trust you because you don't have a regular driver's license or a CDL to fly, why would they even trust you with behind the wheel of a truck?
And I think that speaks very loudly to the amount or lack thereof of vetting that these folks are getting to go get these licenses. My current Vice President of Safety, Chuck Reimer, who is here today and is prepared to testify, has served in the Arkansas trucking community since 1988 and was actually our Arkansas Trucking Association Safety Director of the Year back in '91 when I was still just a little boy in school. He has worked for a carrier based in the United States that was employing a lot of drivers from south of our border on B1 tourist visas, and he processed thousands of B1 driver applications, thousands. And he will testify to you all today that he never saw a single moving violation, not one, not a stop sign, not a speeding ticket, not a DWI, nothing.
Imagine that somebody coming from a different country than yours and coming in, they get a CDL, and when they apply on their resume, the country of their origin does not report any moving violations, whether it be just a simple speeding ticket, a red light camera, or something as severe as a wreck, and they never report that.
That's crazy.
What's even worse is a lot of these people, a lot of these folks that are coming from these countries 9 times out of 10 don't probably have the type of technology or anything like that to record such infractions in their own home country. So if their own home country don't even care about all that stuff, who's to say when they come over here, they, like I said, they still have the same type of mentality when they come over here. It's like they're all brand new, no nothing on their license, no blemishes, no nothing like that. So we don't really know who's getting behind the wheel here because there's no. I mean, you drive for 20 years. I mean, tell me there's not at least one minor infraction on your driver's license. I'm not saying that's impossible, but every single driver that comes over here does not have not one blemish on their record. Well, I believe the average American trucker probably has like one or two on their record. I said whether it's a speeding camera or out of service violation, even something as minor, because we all know that DOT records every single thing that we got going on, every single little thing.
How can that be? How can we trust the countries of origin where these people come from when one of our most well-respected safety professionals in the industry in this state is going to tell us all today that he has never seen a single moving violation on any of the records obtained from the country of origin of those drivers? And I would humbly submit to everyone today, before we have a wreck in Arkansas like what happened in Austin, Texas just last week, where a non-citizen with a visa, more than likely it's not confirmed, but more than likely a non-domiciled CDL,
Mr. Beach, you need to wrap it up.
plowed into stalled traffic going 80 miles an hour, killing 5 people. I can only wonder how many warning signs that he blew by before he made impact. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Any questions?
Real truckers don't wear flip-flops.
Real truckers don't wear flip-flops.
So let's hit the see the comments here. Let's get into the discussion. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this.
Soup, I'd still be a medic firefighter because battling all kinds of demons because be lucky and drive the truck. Yeah. Soup says 18 would be telling everyone on the flight to watch his lives during the flights. Oh, man. Polar Fox APU is another option. Electric with lithium batteries. If you don't have a tri-pack, I would go electric route. You sent me that Polar Fox stuff, and I was looking at it. I've never called them, but I was definitely looking at it. Speaking of which, flying, how much is that system, the Polar Fox? I'm curious. AT all trucked up Bando. What's up, bro? What's up, guy? How are you? Glad you're in here. John says, KO never caught alive. Haven't seen D sitting on that seat, just poking fun. All love, D. We know. We know you're just making fun of him. If you aren't licensed, recognized by the USA, you should be allowed to drive here. That means Mexico isn't allowed. If I recall, most Canada is recognized. Flying Patty says, boils my blood. I go to the New York DMV and get hassled from the women behind the counters. But guys coming in with the translator and ladies are all falling over trying to help these guys. Yeah, that's
It's
what we're looking
bullshit,
for.
man. That's what it is.
Not trucking related, but I have 2 deployments. The stuff that is an issue is that the USA laughed at. The issue in the USA is laughed at in other countries. Yeah. Popo got somebody there. Ritter Trucking. People behind this shit should be locked up. If you're a legal CDL holder, you're being punished in this. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, 100%. That's our biggest complaint is they're taking money away from our families is what they're doing.
It's all, at the end of the day, it's all about revenue. And speaking of revenue, I've got another one by special request. I ain't gonna say who, but they just sent me this this information here, and I went to look up for it. So let me go ahead and pull this up right now. Let's go ahead and read about it. And and I believe this is in California. Don't quote me on the location, but it sounds like it is.
Vail, Colorado.
Colorado. Okay, long
Vail.
time coming. Vail passes $2,650 fine for unchained truckers that spin out on I-70. So no longer can you just get towed out of there. They're gonna hit you with that tow bill. The city of Vail has voted in an ordinance that will charge truckers more than $2,600 in fine if they spin out on Interstate 70 without chains. The ordinance was voted in by the Vail, Colorado Council members on Tuesday, March 18th. It implements a $2,650 fine for truck drivers who are driving along I-70 without chains, spin out, and block the roadway while the chain laws are in effect. The ordinance also implements a $1,500 fine for passenger vehicles driving through without chains while the state laws are in effect. It is unclear when the new ordinance and fine schedule will go into effect. So they're not only just fining the trucks, they're also hitting the cars as well, passenger vehicles as well too, with the amount of 1,500, 2,650 for trucks, almost half of that, 40% less for cars. It's been a long time coming for this ordinance to come through, and I think it's an important one for the council to regain some control over what we can. Chris Botkins, the operations commander with the Vail Police Department, said at the Tuesday meeting. Clearly, there is not a deterrent significant enough for truckers to change their behavior. Vail Mayor Travis Coggins said in an interview to Colorado Sun, "Our estimate is that 60% of trucks are not chained when there is clearly a chain law. People are going to complain about this, but my response is if you don't like the fine, don't break the law. If you don't like the fine, don't go to their state. There is no load, in my opinion, there is no load that pays enough for me to throw chains on my truck to go deliver. Therefore, I don't go to any state that has chain laws in effect." Too many people are just what's the word I was using? Or they lack courtesy, and I prefer not to service those kind of people. So there you go.
You know that you're bringing up the chain law, and this is something that I didn't know until just a few hours ago. But me and Poppy was talking, and he lives in the state of Virginia. But did you know that state of Virginia is a chain law state too? Did you know that?
Virginia? No,
Yeah.
I did not.
I did not know that either. It's a chain law state too. You have to have chains in your truck between the months of, I think he said October to April.
Well, I don't
Did not
carry
know that.
chains, so
I don't either. You got to have 4 for the tractor to put on each axle, or 2 on each axle in the rear, and you got to have 2 chains to put on each one of each the trailers in the back, the tires on the back. So you got to have a total of 6 chains, 4 for the tractor, 2 for the trailer. It doesn't matter front or back on the trailer. You just got to have 1 set on there. That's crazy, huh? Virginia.
mm-hmm.
Didn't even know that. He didn't even know that. All right, you
Nope.
want me to take that down? Are you done?
Yep, yeah, I'm done with this.
All right. So, okay, let's go back. John Huntley says, I say international cargo gets parked and USA drivers move it to the border. I've said that for years.
Absolutely.
I don't know why these, there's a lot of companies. I know Swift is one of them. I can't remember all the companies where they have.
But Swift is one of the biggest one that does this. Another one that also the ET Transport, the big Ronan, the big guy on YouTube. He does it. He does haul into the country as well. He did open up a new terminal over there in Georgia, so.
But what I was going to say is they have dual license plates. They have United States license plates from whatever state, and then they have a Mexican license where they can do that. So if that's the case, they got to have 2 license plates. Why don't they have 2 licenses? One for Mexico and one for the United States.
And I believe the rule as it sits right now is any truck that comes in either from Canada or Mexico, they can go to deliver their load anywhere in the United States, but they cannot stay in the country. They have to find a load that's going directly back either to Mexico or Canada. It can't be like, oh well, I drop a load here in Chicago, and then I pick up a load in Chicago, hop down to Florida, and then from Florida to Texas, and Texas back to Mexico or Canada. It's supposed to be a one way thing, but DOT doesn't enforce it. That's why it's so prevalent, and that's why the rates are. I mean, that's another reason why the rates are so cheap. If you can get a Mexican carrier in, you can have him run your loads around a little bit, and he goes right back out to Mexico, and he probably didn't even earn no more than what 1,000 pesos.
It's funny, and to add to that, what would be fair is okay with Canada and Mexico to come over here to this country and do deliveries, but it's to the bordering states. When you get states and say it goes outside the bordering states, then another driver has to take it from there. And then they can deadhead back to their country once their loads have been delivered and not take anything away from the United States. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay, so the person that sent me the article to look up has also sent me a message to correct you on that Virginia chain law thing. And he gave me some proof here as well too. So it says in Virginia, while there isn't a specific semi-chain law mandating chains on all semi trucks, tire chains are permitted when required for safety due to snow, ice, or other conditions that could cause a vehicle to skid or slide. So there isn't a chain law, but you can use chains wherever permitted.
Send me that article, will you? I'm going to send that to Poppy.
Well, it wasn't an article. It's more of a screenshot from the internet about it. I got a screenshot, not an article. But I guess I could just send that to you. So
yeah, wherever you got, just send it. Did I read this? Did you read the article about the railroader that wants to put trucks on trains to prevent crashes on 70 in Colorado? I haven't seen that one.
I wonder how much that would cost to put your truck on the train. It's probably save you a lot of hours, but it's going to cost you a pretty penny.
When I drove in Europe, you had to be able to converse with Johnny Law in many different languages. Not fluent, but you had to have basic comprehension. Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, that should just be standard in every country. Period. You know.
So
at least understand what's going on.
412's got a comment for you. Man, I'm starting to think D has become a dispatcher. Bro is never in that damn truck.
I'm in my front seat. What are you guys talking about? This is a green screen. Y'all need to get off of me about my damn chair, man.
Man, he says, man, I met a Punjabi 2 weeks ago. He needed some help with the tire. We ended up talking, and he paid $20,000 for a work permit from his boss and never leaves the United States. Wow.
That all sounds like modern day slave labor, dude.
Yeah, it does.
That's crazy, man.
He did it to become a Canadian citizen, but his boss never gets him home.
That's crazy.
And
that's another thing about this whole situation with all these drivers. Like at the end of the day, my number one problem with this, other than safety, is these companies are taking advantage of these drivers by giving them lower wages and treating them like shit. I mean, we shouldn't want that for our fellow truck drivers, and that I'm pretty sure that contributes to a lot of how safe we are as a whole on the road.
I don't know what that word is. Cabotage, they call, but a lot
cabotage.
Okay, sabotage maybe they call it, but snow. Oh, okay. Snow Mexicans do a few runs going back north. Pennsylvania doesn't require chains, but if they shut you down the highways, you're only allowed on them if you're loaded and running chains. It's
absolutely.
Yes, Poppy is still at F2F Ritter Trucking.
Well, I thought he already came over, man. What was taking him so long?
He's not coming over here.
Nah.
Doesn't make sense for him to come over here. Did you see the report of Oregon labor dumping 200,000 truck drivers into the industry from other countries? No, I haven't seen that. And back to Poppy, and this just goes to show you guys that when I try to get you guys to a certain place that I think might make sense, I didn't bring Poppy over here because it didn't make sense for what he was doing and what his habits are and what he likes to do. We've compared numbers, and we make about the same amount of money. I mean, 1 week I'm better, 1 week he's better, but it just doesn't make sense for, he loves picking his own loads and being on the spot market. Unfortunately, spot market's trash. Everybody knows that. Not saying it might not make sense next week, but for this week, it doesn't make sense for him. He's always got his options open, and he's constantly looking for a better place. But for him, he's at the best place, just like me. I think I'm at the best place for what I like. It's not a one-size-fits-all, guys. A lot of these companies are using these guys as mobile sweatshops. Yep. 412. And out of all of them, no one had a prior violation in their country of origin. Is it origin or Oregon?
Origin. I'm pretty sure it's Origin. Oh no, somebody's frozen. Well,
I seen a video today on it. Did I freeze up for a second or something?
I believe you did.
No. Democratic states will always make sure the numbers are rigged. Sorry, history speaks for. Yep, I agree with you, John Huntley. Country of origin. That's what I thought.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier in that video that we just watched, it was like you said, the guy mentioned that these countries where these guys come from, they have zero, zip, zitch, nothing on their record saying that, hey, he had a speeding ticket once. And there's a lot of these countries that where these people are coming from don't even have traffic laws. Don't even probably, or they have traffic lights and they just ignore them. I'm not going to name any specific country, but you know what I'm talking about. They just straight drive. And miraculously nobody never runs into each other. But as soon as they come to America, whole different story.
How in the hell does that shit happen? You know what I mean? How do you not hit somebody without a traffic light or something?
Right.
You know?
And with that being said, I do have one more video I want to get into.
All right.
And I think we should at least take a look at that. Again, the comments are always open for discussion. And I do also want to preface by saying this, right? It's not about race. It's not about religion. It's not about it has nothing to do with all of that. It has everything to do with their ability to drive, their ability to follow the law in our country, and be able to understand what they are getting into. Because at the end of the day, we're driving 80,000 pounds worth of vehicle, and we're a murder missile, and we got to learn how to control that. We got to be able to learn how to drive those things safely and effectively. Because at the end of the day, we have family members who are also on the highway. We don't want to get that phone call saying that, hey, your family's been hurt or somebody passed away because somebody who didn't speak English was going down the mountain and they couldn't read the sign that says that this is where you need to pull over if you lost your brakes, and he decides to just say fuck it, he's going all the way down and run into and crash into 6 people and kill them. At the end of the day, it's about safety. It's not about race.
Where's your video at?
I'm coming.
Okay, I thought you forgot.
Nah, I ain't forget. Just remember, I don't have YouTube Premium, so we got commercials. Just gonna have to deal with it.
Slam dunk savings all month
Slam
long.
dunk savings.
Window. Design and ride a new Elantra. 0 down and just $260.
Court documents, Ignacio Cruz was arrested for a low-level drug crime. Punishment was 10 days.
Now, this right here really ticked me off because you guys are going to learn how many times this person got into this country, how many times he's been deported. And you're gonna sit here and you're gonna ask yourself, how the fuck does that happen?
Is in jail. Now he's behind bars in Colorado for vehicular homicide. A driver of a semi-truck may have been going too fast when he lost control on Highway 285. Law enforcement is familiar with this man, Ignacio Cruz Mendoza. Federal officials say he had been deported or left the U.S. voluntarily 16 times over the last 22 years.
Wait a minute. 16 times?
Y'all heard that, right? You got deported 16 times, but yet you still find your way back into this country. I mean, open borders are not a problem. I mean, this was a result of having open borders, in my opinion.
Times deported? How in God's green earth is this guy able to get behind a wheel of a semi-truck?
Ike, I want to know the same thing too, because I'm just as confused. You get deported 16 times, and you still find yourself behind the semi truck. Does this man even have a CDL? How was he able to obtain a CDL? That's the question that we need to ask. Where did he get those CDLs from?
Who hires this guy? How did he get his CDL if he even had a real one? And let me just think. This guy probably don't know any English, huh?
It began in 2002 when Cruz Mendoza was arrested in Oregon. 9 News Investigates learned it was a low-level drug trafficking charge. 10 days in jail, 18 months probation.
Drug trafficking. Who gets 10 days in jail for drug trafficking, bro? Even at your first offense, who gets 10 days for drug trafficking? That's crazy.
Federal records show some of his immigration history. Cruz Mendoza was deported on September 10, 2004. He re-entered the U.S. without proper authorization 10 days later. Other than the drug trafficking charge, ICE is not aware of any other local criminal charges on his record. In Colorado, State Patrol says he was driving a big rig without a commercial driver's license. The crash killed the 64-year-old man and seriously hurt another person.
So this man ain't had no license, but he was able to get into a semi-truck and drive, deliver loads, and crashed and kill a U.S. citizen. But he didn't have no license. He was deported over 16 times. He has a drug trafficking charge on his record. Somebody explain this to me. How does that happen? I thought America had all the technology in the world to spot stuff like this and prevent this from happening, but apparently we don't.
So
They do.
Ignacio Cruz Mendoza.
What's that?
They do have it, but they don't want to enforce it. That's the problem.
Did not have a CDL. Okay? He was an illegal immigrant. How? Now, I know this was from 2024, but how did this guy get behind the wheel? And how long was he driving? How many way stations did he go through? Okay? And that's our freaking problem here. You know, we're not doing anything about it. How is this guy coming here as an illegal that's been deported, was able to come back and get in a truck? Whose truck is that? Was that his? Was that someone else's? No one's vetting this crap. But you as a man or a woman that is here legally, okay, speak good English, drive millions of miles, safe, free, doggone get your CDL taken away because you have high blood pressure. What? Or you have diabetes. What? But we allow these guys that ain't even supposed to be here. I mean, this system is freaking broken. Now look at this. Now this is a memorandum back in 2016. This is about English language proficiency testing and enforcement policy. Okay, this is from the FMCSA, you know, and this goes to all the DOT and all that kind of stuff. If we go down here, the policy, Okay, if a driver can communicate sufficiently to communicate the inspection or investigation, she should not be cited for violations. Okay, 39 or 391.11. If a driver cannot read, write, speak English, but can communicate sufficiently with the inspector, investigator, she should not be cited for a violation. What? Tools to facilitate communications such as interpreters, iSpeak cards, cue cards, smartphone applications, and on-call telephone interpretation service may be used with interacting with drivers.
I think that's horseshit. Like none of that stuff you shouldn't be able to use that. And my reasoning behind that is like, can you use a translator to read the signs while you're going down the road to see if that's the exit that you need to take, or if that's the road that you're not supposed to go down? If you're in a truck, are you gonna do call up one of your buddies at the same time, but you already done passed the sign by that point? They can't even tell you. Are you gonna have somebody on video to watch exactly what you're doing and tell you exactly what street you should be going down? Like if you can't at that point understand what you're doing while you're driving a truck, you shouldn't have the ability to have a second tool or a helping hand when you get pulled over by the law, and then they're trying to see whether or not you are proficient in the language to understand the road signs or know exactly what you're doing or where you're or where you're going.
Are we losing our mind? This is back in 2016, folks. All right. I mean, this was already happening anyway, but now we got it in black and white. If a non-English speaking driver acknowledges that he or she does not speak English, the driver should be cited for violation.
They offered me $3,000
Sorry,
for
guys, I
my
don't have
minor
basic
accident.
premium.
This Harvard AI calculator showed me it was worth
Yeah, here we go. All
Okay. However, it's no longer an out of service violation. I wonder how many people. Okay, so this guy in Austin that ran over all those people, and he had a ticket recently, just a few weeks before in Wilmer, Texas, doing 62, 63 in a 30-mile-an-hour zone. How did he get a ticket? You know, because of doing that, but they just let him go because it's not an out of service. It's not an out of service. And what cop wants to deal with that, right? Who wants to go, you don't speak English. We're just going to go ahead and take you out of your truck because you shouldn't be driving a truck. And cops don't want to deal with that because then they got to get a tow truck. They got to figure all this crap out. And these cops don't want to deal with it, right? This is back in 2016, and this just flew under the radar. And now we're back here in 2025 sitting here talking about it. Now, I'm not sitting there going and
this is a video of the guy that killed the 5 or 6 people, 2 of which were children in Texas. And again, it was this was also alluded to the video that I played earlier about the Arkansas committee was talking about they don't want this happening in their state, and that's why they're coming up with some legislation and some laws to fine and remove these people from or not allow these people from traveling in their state because they don't want this to happen to them as well.
And hating on people that want to come over here and make money. All right, that's the American dream. I'm all about it. Come over here, do it the right way. And so I'm not hating on individuals that are coming here and all that. What I'm concerned about and what I'm pissed off about is our government is letting it happen. It's letting it happen and they're not doing anything about it. We employ, talking about our politicians and their appointees and FMCSA people, we employ them only for them to allow these drivers to come in here untrained, uneducated in the English language. Okay, they don't even belong behind the wheel because they don't even have a valid CDL, and they're still out here driving trucks and running over people. And we're allowing it to happen. And you ask yourself, well, what do we do about it? What do we do about? I'm going to continue to make videos about it, and it's going to be a point to where if nothing gets done about it, and this continues to happen, our rates go lower and all this kind of stuff. If nothing freaking happens out of this, I guarantee you enough people are going to be pissed off about this, and they're going to take their trucks to Washington and they're going to go honk their horns until someone freaking listens. Okay.
We tried that already before. What results came out of that? Nothing. Literally nothing. Because at the end of the day, us truck drivers are way too fragmented. If enough people went to Washington and the rest of us decided, hey, we're just going to sit out and not run any loads, maybe there might be some change. But then when you have 60, 70,000, 80,000, immigrants coming into this country illegally obtaining these licenses to drive trucks, and they have to drive for pennies on the dollar, they pretty much boxed us out from any options of even doing that, because if we don't run, somebody else is going to take that load.
Been done before, even though nothing happened, okay, with the ELDs, the LD mandate. But it's going to it's going to come to that. People are going to get tired of it. All right. Hey, I want to let people know, if you're watching this and you're not a truck driver or whatever, most good truck drivers, most experienced truck drivers, most English speaking American, freaking, don't matter what part of the world they come from, they come here and they do it right. Okay. All right. They come here and they become a citizen and they become a truck driver and they provide. We're all aligned. We're all unified on this. Okay. The minority on this, the minority are the people that are doing it wrong, and they've been doing it wrong in the first place. English is our language of the United States of America. That's the reason why all the signs say English. They're all in English. And when a driver can't read them, and you think, well, maybe you can know the keywords. What about those flashing signs that sit there and say lane closed or road closed? But they flash, right? And you're still having to, watch traffic, and you're going, and they flash real fast, and maybe you don't get to see the whole thing. If you know English, then you kind of see it, and it's like, okay, I don't have to sit there and think too hard about what that really says. But if you don't know English, you say, what are all those letters mean? And then trying to figure it out. By the time you figure it out, it's too late. I'm just sitting there saying, we got to do something about it, folks. Are we on board about doing this? What are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? Am I going to have to make another video about?
We ain't finna do shit. Unfortunately, that's the resolution that we have here. It's too many hands in the cookie jar. There's too many people doing this, that, and that for anybody to come together and say, hey, let's make this absolute change. At least from truckers themselves. I see Arkansas is trying to do something about it. Kudos to them. Maybe more states might join in with them. I saw a comment earlier that says a lot of most states, they offer their CDL program in English and Spanish, and to an extent, right? Here's my thing with that. We do have citizens that only speak Spanish, or they speak very little English. And I'm talking about our Puerto Rican brothers and sisters, because they are citizens of the United States. They come to the mainland and they want to drive trucks. Can we stop them? Can we still enforce the law? If the law says that they have to learn to speak English, can that be enforced on a U.S. citizen if that U.S. citizen does not speak native tongue isn't English? I can understand it for foreigners, but then there lies an interesting theory or opinion that I would like to know at that point. It's like, what about the U.S. citizens that don't speak English or may not have English as their primary language? Like, how does that affect them?
someone else, having a crash, okay, and they're illegal. They're not even supposed to be here, okay, or they don't know any English. Are we gonna have to make more videos because this happens like all the time? I guess so. Let me know what you think in the.
But then again, what are the chances of having a Puerto Rican that doesn't speak English? I mean, a lot of them do speak English already, so I don't think it would be much of a big issue, a big problem for them. So let me know what you guys' thoughts are. James, what's your thoughts before we head into the comment section?
Buddy, you know my thoughts. We've talked about this. This is what, the third or fourth week in a row about this domicile CDL bullshit. We've talked about this. You know my thoughts about it.
Well, tell the internet. I want the internet to know what your thoughts are too.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, we've talked about it on the internet several weeks in a row. It's very simple in my books. If you can't read and speak English, you have no business being on the road with a CDL license or driving a truck or whatever scenario is. You got to be able to read, speak English, because if you can't, you don't know what the street signs say. You don't know what the dangers are. You don't know the caution signs. You don't know the road construction. I mean, there's lots of things that could go with that, dude. If you can't read English, you shouldn't be doing it. And honestly, I don't know why they would, because I put myself in their position, going to their country, reading Spanish. Can I get away with reading Spanish? Not really. I mean, I know a little Spanish, but not enough to know all the emergency signs and words. And same thing with French. If you go to Canada, most stuff in Canada, depending on where you're at, is in French. I don't know.
I think Quebec is the reason why most of Canada has to have English and French speaking signs in their country.
Maybe, but that's my opinion. Me personally, that's why I don't want to go anywhere else. I have no desire. Me and Country were talking about that the other day. I have no desire going to Canada, none at all, because I don't want to have to read their street signs and figure that shit out. I don't know why they would want to come up. I mean, I do know why. They've got nothing more to live for than just come out here and run a truck and send money back home to the family. And I get it. Ike's right. What's the matter?
No.
Okay. Bonehead guys he's right. We shouldn't be downing these guys wanting to better themselves, but at the same token, do it the right way. Know the English language. I mean, there's millions of drivers that have done it the right way. And I see them all the time, and I've talked to them. If you do it the right way, no problem, But the guys that aren't doing it the right way, that's where I have the problem. That's my thoughts. Let's read some of these comments. We'll get caught up. John Huntley was the last one. In Delaware, we have a dude who thinks he's a woman sitting in the house. Okay. Thankfully, in America, if you're not tech bro or finance, truthfully, in America, if you're not a tech bro or finance bro, you can't afford the cost of living in every industry. My wife is a nurse in Virginia, got laid off before Trump even came into office. Yeah, that's kind of a true statement. You got to be in one of those businesses. In Delaware, and we have a dude who thinks he's a woman sitting on the House of Representatives. We are really screwed.
That's the state that had that thing. I know I saw something about it. I didn't remember what state that had that going on, but
can't find a job driving an hour, and it only pays her $25 an hour. Now, $25 an hour today in today's money is like, $5 an hour. 20 years ago, it's just not. It's not enough money, and she's a registered nurse. That's not enough money for a registered nurse. I had to translate for a Mexican driver in Indianapolis at the shipper. Asked him how much he was making on 30 cents per mile. Wow, 30 cents per mile.
That's crazy.
Did you see CDL Shorty video defending these immigrants? No, I haven't seen that. CDL Shorty. I'll have to look that up.
I've seen his videos. I've watched his videos, but I haven't seen that one.
Race, religion, and you want to be dressed like had nothing to do with it. You were literally driving a missile. The dude from Delaware.
Absolutely.
Brian, making law. Sorry, we're screwed. Yep. I used to like him, but had to unsubscribe because of the ignorance. Is crazy. You know, that's funny a statement there because, you know, not only have I unsubscribed, quit watching certain actors and actresses, musicians, because of their liberal beliefs. And, you know, and majority of these people that are in music and in TV movies and stuff, they're getting paid for their liberal beliefs. It's not really that they believe the shit, but they're getting paid. They're getting paid for this shit. You know, growing up, and I'm gonna go back a few years. Growing up, one of my very, very favorite musicians was Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. I don't know if you've ever heard of them or not, D, but they were
I
very.
know who Bruce is, or at least I know of Bruce.
Buddy, I was 13 years old. I remember it was my very first concert. I went to Bruce Springsteen and E Street Band. It was the Born in the USA tour when that song first came out. I remember about him being, you know, talking about the poor man and this, and now all of a sudden he's a billionaire. Okay, I don't know if you know that or not, but he's a billionaire now, and he could care less about any of us. And I don't listen to his music anymore because of that. I listen to his old shit, but he hasn't done that in several years. But it irritates and upsets my stomach to even think about that shit. And that's just one person. There's lots of them that have been paid. 412 says the thing to me out DOT and way stations is it's all about. Yep, you're right. It is all about the money. That's it. It's all about the dollar bill.
Absolutely.
So first, the officers don't want to do much work and put a truck out of service with the guy who can speak English and do the paperwork on the beat-ass truck. A million violations, yeah. They would rather target the prime inks and major carriers for one of two simple violations, collect the money from multi-million-dollar companies instead of. Yes,
because
sir.
at the end of the day, they know they can collect from them. Like I say, you try to find these other guys. You know, they can go back home and never pay a dime in fines or restitutions.
Chasing a one truck carrier they know just won't pay the fees anyways. You're absolutely 100% right. You could have a brand new tractor, a brand new trailer. All your permits are in line. Everything's hanging where it needs to. Your IFTA stickers, your New York Cut stickers, they will always find something wrong with your truck. I don't care how old your truck is. The J Square, every state offers the CDL test in English and Spanish. That is correct, that I know of. The minute I was diagnosed with diabetes, the FMC reported it to Delaware, who immediately yanked my CDL. That's nonsense. I wasn't given the chance to bring it under control. Yes. The California DMV offers a CDL written test in English, Spanish, Arabic, Chinese, Punjabi, and Russian. So does Minnesota. I heard that off of Cassius.
That's crazy.
If you can't read or speak English, you have no right to cross the border. Don't see me going to Greece and driving there. I'm half Greek. Still can't speak the damn language. Okay, that's true. The FMCA regulation 49 CFR 391.11 states that the commercial drivers must be able to read and speak the English language. Yep. How many train conductors are in America that English isn't their first language? How many American airline jobs have English as their first language?
You know what the funny thing is, when it comes to the airlines, just worldwide, I think English is the language that all pilots need to learn how to speak in order to be a pilot. Like, that's the number one language that you need to speak. I mean, obviously, if you speak another language and you're going to your home country, you probably more than likely are going to be speaking in their language. But just worldwide in general, you have to speak English in order to fly a plane.
412. How come every 911 operator in America first language is English, even if they're bilingual, but anywhere else in the American border if you call 911? Yeah. It gets answered in English. Let that sink in. In the 90s, my aunt from Greece, who doesn't know an ounce of English, with an international driver's license, was pulled over for running a stop sign. They wouldn't let her go.
See?
Wow. I know.
So what changed from the 90s till now?
It's just too many people are involved in this movement. You know what I mean? To do this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Too many people are getting paid. That's the problem. Because she could speak or read English, why would it be any different? I agree. Sorry, Rabbit. Even with YouTube Premium, it only shows so many words. Money not spent well. Yep. Flying Patty. I believe a lot of these actors and performers are all compromised, and their masters make them. Yep. You're exactly right. Pay the piper. That's exactly right. That's how they get popular. And you think about it. Think of some of the musicians that we listen to. You sit down and you listen to some of the stuff. Years ago they didn't have auto tune. I don't know if you know what auto tune is, D, but they didn't have auto tune.
You
Where
ask me if I don't know what auto tune is. Of course I know what auto tune is, man.
You sit down and you listen to some of these musicians, and I find myself listening to it almost every night. Some of these people that are popular, they suck, and you wonder how they get records and albums. So I don't know how some of these people ever made music. I mean, I do know now. It's all about the dollars. As a pilot, I'm a licensed private pilot. You must be able to read and speak English worldwide.
Absolutely.
Buddy, I think we need to cut this off. We need to cut this off because I need to get to drive and get up to Lithia Springs. Anybody got any questions? We've been on here almost a little bit over an hour and a half. John Huntley. Not trying to make this a political forum, but I really think the Democrats are trying to screw the country. I'm not a Republican or Democrat. I vote for. Me too, buddy. I'm not either one. I'm a registered Republican only to be able to vote, but I'm actually an independent, and I always said that from the beginning. I vote for the right person. Unfortunately, the Democrats aren't doing anything. You are right. Good night, 412. Good night, Flying Patty.
All right, everybody, man. It was nice for everybody to come in and have a discussion with us. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to each of our channels. And we'll see you guys next week, man. Any last words that you have to say for them, Rabbit?
No, I'm good. Just good night, guys, and everybody be safe. Good night, gents, says John Huntley. And Country's on here. Good night. Safe travels. Country,
All right,
if you're
everybody.
up, I'll give you a ring in a little bit if you're going to be up. I'll text you, make sure you're good. Night, Country. night, Country. No crying.
Good night, everybody.
Goodbye, Country. All right, guys. Y'all have. So he says he's up. Okay, I'll call you in a little bit. All right, guys. Everybody have a good night. D, have a good night. When you going out? Tonight? Tomorrow? What?
Eventually. I'm
Good night,
already
KO.
in my truck. I just need to put it in drive and go. So.
All right. I'll be driving all day tomorrow, man. Give me a ring.
All right.
Good night, guys. Good live, by the way. Thank you, guys.